return of the boom bap means just that. It means return of the real heartbeats and real rap. You know my...
I have this new idea. I have no idea how this is going to work out, but if it brings value to you, then I've done what I set out to do. Here's the plan. I've been talking either on the phone with teachers or by email with teachers a lot lately who are kind of daunted at the end of the year. They're not sure what's going to happen to their students. They get nervous when the students don't try hard enough in school or when there's other hiccups like in their world, and where is this kid going to go? Are they going to make it? I thought I would bring a new element to that conversation. And what I want to do over the next several weeks is to spotlight students that I've had over the last 12 years, either in Camden, New Jersey or in West Philadelphia, kids that I wasn't sure what was going to happen to them when they were in the 9th grade. You know, I saw the potential like many of us teachers do, but I really wasn't sure how that was going to play out in the long run. And so now, 12 years later or 4 years later, these are kids that have done it, that have gone out in the world and they've done something. They followed whatever passion they had, they followed their dreams, they've made more out of their lives than I could have hoped for. What I'd like to do over the summer is to have one of these student spotlights and to really encourage you to just hold on to that hope, to not give up on the kids or on yourself, to doubt yourself too much to the point where maybe you're thinking of going into another job. Maybe you're thinking that this isn't for you. Maybe you're thinking you're not cut out for this. Because I'm telling you that if you make it only ever about the kids, it is the job for you. And here's that first student spotlight. This is a girl that I had about 10 years ago in my class, I think. And Romina was a very, very stubborn freshman. She did not want to talk. She thought she was smarter than everyone else, and she may have been. She drove me nuts in a lot of ways. Always able to connect with students pretty easily. And Romina presented just such a huge challenge to me. And it actually wasn't until her junior and senior year that we really started to connect. She was my first student that I ever had a birthday party at my house for. After high school, she was one of our first babysitters that we started using for our children. She's more wonderful than I could ever convey in words. And so today I bring to you Romina.
Who's this going towards? This is for
the whole world.
The whole world?
Yeah.
So, okay, it's fine. Did I look at you? Or I
would look at, I don't know. We'll try it. This is the first time I've done this. This is Romina. Romina was my student 10 years ago. We just figured out the math, but there's a reason I teach English and not mathematics. And so I just want to talk, like I said in the intro, ask her some questions rather about who she is now and kind of where she came from and how those two things, how she bridged those two areas of her life.
And also, if you don't like your teacher growing up, you actually might like him later in the future, because he gave me, I had straight A's one time, gave me my only B, and I hated him. But then,
that's what I do.
10 years later, look at us now. I'm
here breaking hearts and crushing dreams, people. So could you introduce yourself and just tell everyone who you are first?
Yeah, my name is Romina. I am 23 years old, turning 24 in a few weeks. And I work right now at a television... Can I state all this information?
Yeah.
Okay. I work at CBS Television, not CVS the pharmacy, CBS. I do programming, which is basically I just schedule the stations for certain markets such as Philadelphia, New York, and Baltimore for right now. And I've been doing that since February. I used to work at Univision, which is also a television company, but I did that for a year and a half after I graduated college. So
that's that Spanish television.
That's that. Espanol.
Where are you from?
I was born and raised in Camden, New Jersey. I lived there, stayed there until I was 18 after I graduated high school. And then after that, my parents moved to this small, complete 180 from Camden, small city called Winona. Still in New Jersey, but it's, if you know Camden, just think the total opposite of Camden, and that's where I live now.
So this doesn't necessarily have to be in school. It could be a life lesson, but what's the best lesson you've ever learned?
A really good lesson, and somebody just told me this today, was to shut up. To you're never always going to be right. You're never always going to be the center of attention or you're never going to be the reason anybody does anything. So don't hold yourself to that high standard, and just if someone tells you do this and you don't want to do it, just shut up and suck it up and do it. That's the way life is. It's not always going to be how you want it, or no one's going to do everything you want to do. So if somebody tells you, authority figure, if they tell you, or your boss, or if you're at a new job, or teacher tells you, hey, do this, and you don't want to do it, you just have to do it. You suck it up and just don't talk back. Don't get in trouble. And now that I'm older, I think about that and I'm like, it's way easier said than done because I still can't keep my mouth shut for anything. I think that's something that I've always told myself is that if I'm a failure, everyone's gonna find out. But if you're successful, try to keep that to yourself, and you don't have to talk about yourself all the time. You just shut up every once in a while.
Who told you that?
You told me, my mom's told me, my new director has told me that. Like, and I mean, I'd always get, like in elementary school, I'd get like straight A's for everything. And then with my conduct, when they had that back in the day, I'd always get like a B. And my teacher would always tell my mom, yeah, Romina's like great in math and science and everything, but she just can't shut up. So I think that's a trait that I've always had since I was young.
The next question is, well, the dog joined us.
Belly.
The Beast is here. Beast, we are not playing catch right now. Perhaps afterwards. What advice would you give your 14-year-old self?
Oh, I was going into freshman year. Don't be afraid to talk to youth. Yeah, I was supposed to shut up.
It's all right to live in the contradiction. It's cool.
I think express yourself a lot more. You are always going to be, I don't know, like I always talk about like what I could have done, what I like, all the guilt I have from not doing certain things. And I just say express yourself a little bit more. Talk about your feelings a lot. Like I just don't talk about feelings whatsoever. Talk about anything that could alter a friendship or a relationship. So I just say express yourself a little bit more. And I wish I could have told people how I felt about them, or I wish I could have gone out to like a party my sophomore year, do something adventurous and crazy, and not just always be the straight A on-road kid who does absolutely nothing but like go home, study, go to school, and that's it. Like I didn't do anything on the weekends. So I wish I could have gone out and been adventurous or done anything that wasn't just revolved around school.
Is there anything in particular that you remember, like one thing at least, that's one of the things that I wish I would have done? Or wish I would have said?
The only thing I can think about right now, freshman year, I wish I could have told this one guy that I had a crush on him. Just because I think that would have changed his life path and also mine as well. Which sounds really dumb, but I'm sure like he was on like just going off the edge, and I'm sure I could have, being the goody two shoes, like straight A student, could have like probably kept him in school and kept him in check.
Interesting. For a teacher question, what advice, so I mean you've been out of school for a while, but what advice would you give teachers?
I enjoy teachers who are very honest with their students, who aren't just teachers, they're human beings as well. Because when you go to school, you don't want to deal with like another parent of someone telling you, you know, go ahead and do this, do your homework, clean up your room. You kind of want someone to tell you, do your homework, but like do that after you go out and live a little. So I'd tell teachers to connect with their students on a one-on-one kind of like personal space, and don't make it creepy, but just make it as a way that I feel like I can like send you an email at 10 p.m. and at 10:30 hopefully you're up and you can help me out on a personal situation, family situation, or anything else. And it's just not a robotic kind of like, don't make me hate you. If you're a teacher, your job isn't to be hated by students. Your job is to teach them and teach them about life, not just math, science, social studies, literature. Give them a book that's going to mean something to them, not, you know, here, read Animal Farm because it's, you know, political or whatever. It's like, here, read Scar Tissue by Anthony Kiedis because it's interesting and because it can help you. I don't know if it can help you about life, but it's something better than just like read a book because you have to pass your AP test, or read a book because you need to learn this new vocabulary word. Make me read a book that's going to actually teach me something about life, not just, you know, what anti-disestablishmentarianism means. Like, I don't need to know that. I need to know how to do my taxes. I need to know how to deal with certain situations that arise in school, at home, with your friends, with strangers. Like, I want to learn how to interact with other people without officially hating them.
Officially hating. I have two more questions. One is, what is the best way you ever witnessed a teacher attempt to connect with their students? I'm not fishing for anything about me in particular, but it's hard to ask teacher questions.
When you are a teacher.
Well, the types of everyone, they're always kids, right? So the types of young adults that I'm asking to do this, I've obviously had some sort of connection with, right? So it's hard to ask like questions like that and not sound like you're fishing for answers. I'm honestly not. If there was You
Good
know,
question.
so the question is, what is the best way you ever witnessed a teacher attempt to connect with their students? So maybe it was completely unsuccessful, but you know, you witnessed it either from afar or personally, and you were like, that was like commendable.
I'll do two. I'll do one for you and one for another teacher. My kindergarten teacher, I actually invited her to my high school graduation. I don't know if you remember this, but she was my sister's, my older sister's also, like her kindergarten teacher, and she connected with my sister immediately. And then 5 years later, when I go to kindergarten, she was also my teacher, and I saw how she would always try to treat me like my sister, or mold me into being my sister. And like, if you know us, we're complete opposites, but still to this day, she would always try to reach out to me with a book, because she always grabbed my sister with books. And like, I'd appreciate that so much, because I knew that she wanted to have that relationship that she has with my sister. Like my sister, if she gets married or anything, the kindergarten teacher will obviously be there. And if I graduated high school, I invited her. But if I do something personal, I don't think I would have that same kind of I don't have that same relationship with her.
Yeah.
So it's an attempt where she'll reach out to me on Facebook, or will send me a text, a happy birthday, how's life, and I'll say thank you, but I would never, and it sounds bad, but like I would never go out of my way to like reply her, you know, just say a thanks, I'm doing well, hope all is well with you, the end. Meanwhile, with you,
I'm sorry, I cannot do that. I'm bad at compliments. Go ahead.
well, you were my teacher even if you were my teacher all 4 years. Like I always had you of high school. Freshman year, you were my lit teacher and also the newspaper teacher with our successful newspaper that we had at her high school. Sophomore year,
It's the worst newspaper ever.
Did we ever make a newspaper?
I think, yeah, but I wrote all the articles, and I pretended that the students did it because I didn't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, we didn't do anything. Sophomore year, you were my study hall teacher. Was it sophomore year?
Yep.
Sophomore year. Yeah, sophomore year study hall. Junior year you were drama, and then senior year you were also my drama teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Both years drama. And I was telling my friend this just like 2 days ago, because I curse a lot, and I would always be like, oh yeah, like freshman year he would always like slap me and say, not slap me in the face, but like just like hit me on the arm and be like, Romina, like I think I was angry at you for always like paying attention to me and giving me like such a hard time, because you knew I could do better than what I was like. I was probably getting like 90s or B's, and you're like, you can get 100 or anything like that. And I would always be like, oh, like leave me alone, like I didn't want the attention. And then sophomore year, when like a crucial family thing happened, I think you just noticed that I wasn't like my talkative self. That I was just sitting in the corner, quiet in study hall, and then you came over, and you're like, hey, what's wrong? And that was the first time anybody even asked me about myself that day, and it was just like following an event, and I remember I think I just broke down crying in front of you, and that was the first time I ever cried in front of a teacher that I wasn't trying to like weasel my way out of getting like a paper like or a test done, because I've also cried for that too.
Yeah.
But this was the first time I actually cried because I was like emotional and like I had things to deal with, and it was just you always noticing when I was off, like even if I wasn't smiling or if I wasn't reading a book or doing my homework during study hall, you'd always notice that. And then junior year of high school, when you made me do like be the hostess of the play, it was just like I was out of my shell, I was out of my comfort zone. Like sure, I wanted to be, back in the day I wanted to be in the spotlight, but I always, I could have a big mouth, I say I want to do things and I never do, and then you made me do it. And I remember learning my lines for that the day of. Same with freshman year of Romeo and Juliet.
Yep.
I was the nurse, and I had like the longest paragraph ever, and I was just like, God, like we had like months to prepare for it, and I still remember that I was ironing my khaki pants and my white button-up t-shirt for class that day for uniform, and I was just reading it over and over again, and somehow I managed to know the entire thing from like top to bottom. I think I like stuttered a few times that I didn't like remember.
It was
anything.
super long too. It was like
the long, because it's when the nurse is coming out and like calling Juliet to get out of her room, and
or perhaps we should show a clip of that right about now.
No.
Now, but my maiden head at 12 years old, I bade her come. What lamb, what ladybird, God forbid, where is this going? What, Julia?
And I just remember like ironing my clothes and just like, I have to do this, I have to learn it. And I ended up getting it, but like now if you ask me, I barely remember the scene.
Yeah.
And then senior year, well, you did this thing freshman year where you had started it the year before when you started school. You'd make us write a note to ourselves. Then you would give it to us graduation. And if I could do something to tell my 14-year-old self, I'd say probably like write a better note.
Yeah.
Because I wrote, and it's so dumb. I wrote about the Red Hot Chili Peppers, how their song Snow came out, and I was like, oh my god, like this is the song of the year, like this band is gonna go places. Meanwhile, I didn't know that they had been.
They'd already been places.
They'd already been places, because I was so naive. But I wrote about like Bret Michaels from Poison had this show called The Rock of Love, and I wrote about that in my note. And senior year when I got it, I was probably on not drugs. I never did a drug in my life.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs, kids. I just remember reading that senior year, and everyone, like, you were handing out the notes, and we were all, like, the day of graduation, we all had our robes on, and we were, like, practicing walking, and I remember everyone just sitting down afterwards and just reading it, and we were all just, like, looking at each other, like, oh my god, like, wow, like, what did you write, or what didn't you write, or what did you think you were gonna be doing what you're doing? Like, did you even think you were gonna graduate? Some kids, you had, like, it sucks to say, some kids you had extra notes because they didn't make it to graduation or their lives were cut too short. And to me, that's just like a symbol of like, wow, like you're in high school, you think freshman year, senior year is going to go in a blink of an eye, and it does. But when you look back, you're like, wow, I spent 4 years with these human beings, or wow, I'm alive and I did so much more. And I think that resonated with me a lot. And like you especially, not to give you any more compliments, but I remember writing about, when I wrote my speech, I remember writing about my kindergarten teacher, but I just said, like, thank you for always being there for my family. Not for me, but for my family. I wrote about, I think you were the last not family member that I wrote about. And I said something about, like, thanks for showing me that you don't have to be family to love someone like you are their family. And I still feel that way, obviously, about you now. But I think that's like the best thing I've ever gotten out of like school. And like it's funny that in high school I think I have maybe like 3 friends and I was there for 4 years. Meanwhile, I still like I keep in contact with you. I keep in contact with like a few other teachers, and it's just, you know, high school you think it's just to make friends or whatever, but my most valued friendships from high school or from school in general were more with teachers than with actual classmates or students that I saw like hanging out or anything. Like I value, I think, the wiseness of like the or like the age more than just like goofing off and having fun, which is probably why I didn't do all those things back in the day, because I thought that in order to get somewhere in life, like I couldn't do anything. I had to like play by the books. But yeah, you taught me a lot of like, no, like go have fun, like be safe, but go have fun, like, you know, do crazy things that you'll probably like regret in like a week or so, but you had fun and you survived, and it's not right. As long as it's not illegal. It's the worst thing that's gonna happen, right? As long as it's not illegal, then I guess it's fine to do. So.
What's next for you?
I wise up. I really want to get my own place. Because I'm still 23 and I live with my parents, which it's fine. Like I hate to say it, but it's okay if you live with your parents at this age. I just want to be. My goal in life is to be as independent as possible. So I. Like in a month, I hope to go on a road trip to Nashville. I want to travel more. Like I've been to Europe, I've been to other parts of the country, but I want to do more things on my own. I want to have a job that I don't have to like talk to anyone to. That sounds bad. I just don't want to ask people if I'm doing my job right. I want to be the one who tells them, like, hey, I need you to do this, like, here's your deadline. I want to be my own boss, essentially. Don't know how I can do that, but, you know, I'm here to learn in life. I know a lot of people think, like, oh, you want to be married or anything. I never looked at marriage as, like, a thing that... I've never strived for marriage or a relationship with another person. I've just always looked at myself to be... Like, find happiness with me, and then I'll find, like, a boy out there who's worthy of me or... cute enough that whatever, but I just want to be independent. I want to be
seriously
yeah, I just want to be my own person and be happy with who I am instead of being what people want me to be or what people expect me to be. You know, that girl who, you know, does good at work, comes home, cooks, goes to the movies. I want to be, you know, I want to get a tattoo and be rebellious or go out and, you know, skydive or do something that no one would ever think I would do. I just want to be unpredictable.
So what's next to get to that, to be that person?
I don't know. That's like, and I think that's like the beauty of it. I don't have to know what's gonna be next. I just want to be alive, and you know, I just want to have freedom, memories. I just want to make memories, make new things, and be spontaneous. I guess like I don't want to settle down. I don't ever look at myself and thinking, oh, I'm 30 years old. I need to get married. I need to have 2 children. My biological clock is ticking. Like, screw that, throw that out of the window. You can always like adopt kids if you really want to. I just, my entire purpose of life is just to be alive and be, as long as I'm breathing, as I have food, water, shelter, I'm happy. I don't care if I tell the boy I like that, you know, he's cute and then he rejects me. I'll be sad, of course. Like, no one deals with rejection fine, but that'll be okay. That'll be cool.
This dog keeps trying. I'm really wondering how much this is going to pick up in the video. If we're going to hear. I don't really know how to end these yet. This is the first one, and I guess we'll figure it out from here. I obviously realize that I need to lock my dog up when I'm doing this as well, because he's going to keep trying to interrupt. One of the things I'm always saying on my channel is that relationships are king, and I think this is like a really good example of why that is so. Like, you can't measure yourself or measure a child's success just from like that year in school. You have to look at them in their whole life and like, where are they going to be in 5 years or 10 years, and try and help them to get to that place. And then next thing you know, you're interviewing them in your dining room. Maybe. I don't know. Thanks, guys. Peace.
This hip-hop, I can't fake it, it's authentic. They all timid, no quitting until they all finish. My thoughts wicked, F it, we all sinners, but the entity in us make sure we all gifted. The